With the distortions that were going on in my life, I somehow had to enter into the labels that were being already placed on me. My name is Stephen Blacki. I'm the director with First Stone Ministries. I was involved in homosexuality for about 8 years. I entered into homosexuality at the age of 14 when I got wheels underneath me. At age 16, I was completely embracing a gay identity, and it was a pretty long and dark 6 to 8 years of my life. I left homosexuality about 31 years ago. Early in my childhood, at about age 6, a friend of the family was babysitting me and communicated how much he liked me and set me up on his lap and told me what a sweet little boy I was and began molesting me. And then at age 10, I was at the next door neighbor's house, and they had a visitor from out of town, probably in his mid-30s, followed me into the garage. And as I was putting the croquet set up into the garage, hovered over the top of me and began molesting me. My abuser began speaking into my ear how much that I wanted this to happen to me because I was not wearing a shirt and I was just running around with jean cut-off shorts and flip-flops. His words sunk deep into my soul. I actually believed it and didn't tell anyone that somehow I had caused this abuse as a 10-year-old little boy. And as I entered into puberty, I had bullies in junior high. Matter of fact, I had one bully that for an entire year, during my 8th grade year, would speak over me every day. Black, he'd call me by my last name, you sissy, queer, faggot. And the art teacher would just look across the room and say, oh, leave him alone. And then they followed me home and they beat me. I ran up on a neighbor's porch and they began punching me in the face, speaking over me, you sissy, you queer, you faggot. Went home with 2 black eyes. And my dad was a Navy boxer growing up. And so I heard immediately when I got home, it was like, well, I hope they look as bad or worse than what you look like. No real compassion or condolence. And so immediately, again, putting that place up in my heart where I hated my dad and didn't want to have anything to do with him. As my budding, evolving sexuality came into place, I began to feel very attracted to my same sex, and so I concluded with the distortions that were going on in my life that I somehow had to enter into the labels that were being already placed on me. It was like, well, everybody else sees this about me, it must be true. As I entered into this idea of embracing a gay identity, I became a sexually addicted man. I wanted to have what was a monogamous relationship. That's a misnomer in homosexuality. But I did end up having some relationships. I was raised as a Catholic, and so I was raised in parochial school. So I believed in God, I knew about God, and actually wanted God. But at the same time, I had this raging homosexuality going on in my life. This crisis kept happening where I wanted truth. Well, what happened is I ended up partying with a friend who was from out of town, a girlfriend, and we went to her sister's house. It's a little trailer house in Nakoma Park, Oklahoma, and these people were in love with God, and they kept talking about God and that God was in their life and that Jesus was doing things in their life and Jesus was answering their prayers. I was sitting there in their home and in the presence of this love, in this presence of really people that were uncompromised, surrendered to God. This feeling came over me, and I thought, man, I need to know God like these people know God. I am not going to get out of here, out of this house, until I know God like these people know God. And so I looked over at this guy that was there. His name was Steve as well. And I said, I need to know God like you know God. And he said, brother, the Lord must be calling you. It's like you have no idea what's going on inside of me. But then on the way home, my friend, she asked me this question, well, so does this mean you're not going to be a gay man anymore? And I said, I guess it means whatever Jesus has for me. There was no praying away the gay. What there was, though, was a place of looking at my heart, my affections, my desires, and receiving counseling and pastoral care, receiving lots of actual introspection of the condition of my heart and soul, and also retraining the way that I think. And I really needed to learn how to act well and interact well with men that wasn't sexually idolatrous. And that took years. 3 years into my journey, I met my wife. I've been married now for 27 years, and we have 3 adult children and 2 grandchildren. Our youngest child is in heaven now, and so I'm on a journey. I always tell people when they come and sit down and talk with me that this is a journey that is one of the most painful things that you'll have to look at in life, but it is a journey that is so well worth it.